Look at that. Rain on my beautiful feet. Good morning, team, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, and I hope that wherever you are with everything that's going on right now, that you're doing great, that you're doing amazing, and that you're keeping on. We're gonna get through this, guys. Today, super excited. Wednesday morning, a little bit chilly in LA. It's been raining, but I finally got my PRG mounts. Transmission mounts. I have recently done the motor mounts and they came out amazing. Now it's time for the transmission mounts. Now these are gonna be a little bit harder urethane than the stock mounts. So these will I definitely stepped it up on this one for sure. I want that shifter feel to be really nice and crisp. So I got sent these by PRG, finally got shipped in, and I'm gonna install it and I'm gonna show you the process on that. Shouldn't be too difficult. Definitely not as difficult as the motor mounts. So stay tuned and let's get going, guys. Now on to the tools you're gonna need for this. A jack, a couple of jack stands, a rag, because if your car is anything like mine, it's super oily down there. Some safety goggles, you don't want stuff falling into your eyes as you're underneath the car. Some wheel chocks, a 15mm socket, a 13mm socket, along with a 13mm either close end or open-ended wrench, ratchet, assortment of extensions, gloves, disposable gloves. We like to keep our hands nice and clean. And for the PRG mount I am installing, I'm also going to need a 19mm socket. This is going to be for the bottom nut of the hydraulic mount, a 19mm wrench, an adjustable wrench, and just in case things get really tight down there and it doesn't want to cooperate, some leverage. So first off, go ahead and jack up the car and place it securely on jack stands. If you've never done this before, check out my other video. I'll put a link of it right there on the screen. Click on it and it'll show you how to do that initially. On my car, there is this plate down here that I believe is just for, well, it's definitely not structural. I think it's just to prevent anything from hitting the transmission, like rocks and things like that. So start by removing this plate if you have it. If you don't have it, then yeah, you get to skip this step. Yeah, so I ended up having to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then this entire piece is now ready to come out. With the shield removed, the next step is to support the transmission. Now, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I've done it before and it's worked. Instead of a 2x4, which I don't have right now because my dog ate my homework, I have 2 skateboard wheels, and they've worked before, and it's not dumb if it works. It looks a little bit sketch, but I wouldn't recommend it. Let me put it that way. Get a 2x4. I'm just doing this because I know that it works for me. With the transmission supported, you're going to remove this one and this one up here. Both of these are 15mm on my car. I've heard that on maybe older models there's 16mm. Anyway, I have a 2001, so these both are 15. Those are undone. So next we're gonna go over here and we're gonna remove this one and that one straight right there. Both of those should be 13mm. When you remove these, you're gonna have to hold them on the opposite side with a 13mm wrench. That is the sound of water dripping all over my feet. Well, actually, that's the sound of water dripping on the cardboard. And there is your transmission mount on the driver's side. So we're gonna disassemble this and then we'll do the passenger side. You don't want to put this on the ground and start trying to wrench away here, because you're gonna end up putting all the pressure on this arm and it's going to bend it. Set it right here and grab your 19. Notice this is a hydraulic mount. The new ones don't have any They're not hydraulic, so they're not liquid filled, so they should last a lot longer. While it's out here, I cleaned it up and I scuffed it real quick with some sandpaper, and I'm gonna hit it with some engine red, or actually orange, Chevrolet orange, because Chevy color on a Porsche for the win. While the paint is drying on the other side, I figured I'd just go ahead and remove this side now. Next will be the same operation on this side. You have this 13 and this 13 right here. I've already started loosening this one. Remember, you have to hold the top sides with a wrench. It is also noteworthy to say that because German engineering, this side is going to be a little bit more cramped for your tools. I searched everywhere and I couldn't find a torque spec for this nut because Porsche says that it's not a serviceable part. Apparently they want you to buy the whole bracket with the new one installed, but that's not how we roll. So I'm just gonna use common sense on this. There is no risk of damaging the hydraulic mount because this is not fluid filled, so I don't have to worry about that. Don't forget to use a little bit of your Loctite blue thread locker on the threads here. One of the helpful and really cool things about the design of this mount is that once you have it torqued, you can still rotate this without rotating the top nut or anything else. So it makes it a lot easier when you're installing it. Even if you have it crooked to an extent, you can just move it on the spot. Now that's not an issue with the original mount, since the original mount will have a square key on the bottom of the mount that matches up exactly to the square slot on the bracket. Make sure to install these two first because this part doesn't move, so there is no adjustment. Torque spec on these is going to be 48 foot-pounds. These are going to be 23 foot-pounds. If you cannot get a torque wrench in here, just go a little bit more than wrist tight. That's not it. You should be ready to put either the skid plate back that you removed earlier if your car has it. Otherwise, you're ready to put the car down.
Fire in the hole!